Everybody says they want to be happy, but the reality is you might find yourself replaying over and over in your head, why did somebody say that to me? What did they mean by that? Don't they know how hard I've been working? And the more you focus your attention on what they did and what they said, and also things like what you can't have, what you can't experience, what you can't afford, what you missed out on, when you focus your attention on all of those things, it's pretty predictable how you're going to feel. Everybody says they want to be happy, yet the things that are going on in our minds are often moving us toward misery, frustration, anger, and disappointment. It's not really always their actions or their words that bring us down, but it's what we allow to spin around in our minds that really changes how we feel. Welcome back to the video, guys. My name is Tom. I do Enneagram coaching. You can find out more in the description below. And we're going to talk about trying to be happy in this life. I want to be happy. Now, you guys know I'm an Enneagram type 7, and my whole personality is kind of focused on moving toward happiness and reframing the negative. And sometimes 7s can do that too far to where they don't really face reality. But the rest of you guys might need a little bit of support and a little bit of encouragement to make happiness more of a priority in your life. Everybody says they want to be happy, but in reality, it seems like you're pretty comfortable being angry all the time. It seems like you kind of want to be frustrated, like you sort of enjoy wallowing in the sadness. It's really hard to be around somebody who's angry, frustrated, and sad all the time, disappointed all the time with life. And what if the real challenge isn't everything people are doing to you and everything people are saying to you and how everybody else is treating you? But what if the big problem here that maybe you're missing is what you allow to spin around in your mind? You know, the mind really is a battlefield, and sometimes you should stop and think about what you're thinking about and what you're dwelling on. As you focus your attention on hurtful, painful, unfair things, you're probably going to feel hurt and in pain and feel like life is not fair, which it's not. So what are you going to do about this? Focusing more on what we can do rather than what we can't do might start to bring improvement and positivity into our lives. So in a world filled with all these distractions and negativity, one of the most powerful shifts you can make is to start to shift your mindset. Often we think it's other people or the tough situations in life that get us down, when in reality it's more like our thoughts and the stories we're telling ourselves and what we choose to dwell on. And look at this, choose. You have the ability here to change your mindset. So it's crucial to decide what you're going to give attention to. All right, the first thing that we want to point out and talk about is we want to identify what the real culprit is that's causing all of this suffering and frustration in your life. It's easy to blame others when you feel hurt, when you feel diminished or dismissed, when you feel like you're unfairly treated, or when somebody said something to you that hurt your feelings. It's easy to blame them and just think they're bad, they need to be punished, they need to get what's coming to them. And you start to shift your thinking to focus on this painful thought that somebody said to you, or this painful experience that you had. And watch, I just want you to see it's 100% predictable how you're going to feel for maybe hours or even days as you give more and more attention to how you were unfairly treated or this painful experience that you're going through. Everyone would say that they want to be happy, but from where I'm sitting, it looks like that's going to be impossible if you keep giving a lot of attention to what they said or did that made you so upset. Let me give you an example. What if two different people at the grocery store, two different lines, what if somebody was rude to them? Somebody said, come on, get out of the way, you're in the way, right? So that happens to two different people. One person really starts to focus on that for the rest of the day and says, why would they say I'm in the way? You know, my dad used to say I was in the way. I've always been in the way. And you can imagine like they could just spiral down, continuously focused on how they've been a problem and how no one really cares about them and how the world is so dark. I mean, what about the other guy in the line who just looks behind them, sees the person complaining and thinks to themselves, wow, that guy woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I can't imagine being married to that. Look, I want you to see that in the second person's experience, they're done with it. They don't give any mind to it. They don't give any credence to it. They don't give a lot of attention to it. And they're able to move on and focus their attention on other more valuable things throughout the day. Real change begins when we acknowledge that it's not so much the actions and words of others that hold us back, but it's our attachment and the meaning we assign to those words and actions. The second point that we want to make is that it's important to redirect your focus and the focus of your attention at times, and to stop amplifying the negativity. You know, when somebody says something nasty, or when somebody acts terrible, or when they dump a bunch of garbage on you, you don't deny that this is happening. I'm not telling you to deny reality and pretend like everything is fine. What I am saying is when you give undue attention to comments from people that are not nice and not friendly or not kind or unfair situations, you can lose sight of what truly matters. Your mind starts to fixate and you start to become anxious and angry and frustrated. And you don't usually do your best work. You don't usually move toward your best outcomes in that anxious, panicked, angry, frustrated, irritated state. It's very likely that you might start to take actions that will actually move the ball in the wrong direction. So, I want you to recognize when you get into this mental loop or this mental spiral downward and realize that you're probably not headed toward any real positive solutions here. You're not really in your wisdom thinking at this point. Instead of just focusing on what went wrong or what was unfair or what you don't like or what you don't have, maybe start instead asking yourself, what can I really change here? What do I need to accept and what can I change? Instead of sulking and pouting that I don't get to do all the things that I want to do, maybe ask yourself, well, what could I do right now? What is available for me to do right now? And why am I feeling this way? And the more I focus on why I'm not satisfied and happy, probably the more likely I'm going to be not satisfied and happy. So, what can I change right now? What could I do right now to make my situation more positive? What can I do right now to make my situation better, to take some kind of action to start to move toward what I really want in this situation? Now I've got something I can focus on that I can actually do rather than all the things that are happening to me. Okay, step number 3. After you recognize what's going on and how you're over-focused on the things that are frustrating, irritating, and disappointing, now you got to shift your mind somewhere else for a minute and get a break. And it's far better if you could shift towards something positive, if you could shift towards something that is life-giving rather than life-draining. Suppose you had the worst news possible. The doctor just diagnosed you with cancer. Now, it's natural for you to want to focus on that and try to understand everything you can about this disease and about what the potential problems are you're going to face. But I always say, try to get some good doctors that you trust to focus on the disease while you focus on life. Focus on chasing life. Focus on moving toward the things that you enjoy, on eating right, on exercise, on relationships. Let them focus on the dark side and you focus on the positive. You chase life, not death. Let them chase that. You chase the things in life that will bring you joy, peace, comfort, happiness, excitement. And look, your whole attitude starts to change. And why is this important? Because it's like a rudder on a ship. How your mind thinks starts to direct the path in which you're going. Move toward life, move toward relationships, move toward those things in life that really give you meaning and purpose. And look, you can't do that as long as you're focused on everything that's negative and every disappointment and every hardship in your life. And why is it not fair for me? You get to make a choice. It's difficult to control your thinking, but with a little bit of effort and practice, as you become more aware of this process, you can start to make real progress in having a positive outlook and a positive mindset. And that makes all the difference. Have you ever watched one of those shows where they leave people out on an island? And can they make it 50 days? Can they make it 80 days? How long can they make it? The ones that quit are the ones that start in the mind saying, I can't do this. I miss my family. I'm not successful here. I don't have everything I need. That starts in the mind. And then before you know it, they take themselves out of the game. Don't take yourself out of the game. Okay, so what are we saying in this video? We're saying you can't control everything that happens in your life, so stop trying to. You're going to be a manipulative, irritating person nobody wants to be around if you're trying to micromanage and control everything in your life. Rather than reacting to everything, decide that you're not going to let everything bring you down. Yes, you may be facing some real challenges, and I don't mean to minimize them at all. I'm just saying everybody faces challenges. Everybody faces difficult situations and difficult relationships. What are you going to pay attention to? What are you going to give the focus of your, the most precious thing about you might be your focus of your attention, what you're going to highlight, what you're going to underline, what's going to eventually become a part of your story. What story are you telling yourself? Nobody likes me, Tom. Everybody hates me. I've got to go to the garden and eat worms. Well, as long as you tell yourself that story, it's pretty predictable what your life's going to look like. You're an amazing person. You are capable. You have been backed into corners before and you've overcome those challenges. You can do that again, but you got to start to believe in yourself. You got to start to believe that there's a grand purpose to all this, and you're not just the victim of everybody else's words, everybody else's attitudes, and everybody else's actions. You get a choice here. And I want you to reclaim that choice once again. So imagine a life where the negative thoughts no longer hold you back, and you get out of that fear state and that anger state and that disappointment and frustration state, and you focus your time, your energy, and your resources on building the future you really want in life. Think about that. What do you really want in life? There's no reason you can't move toward that. So when you transform your mindset, you start to regain control. When you start to decide what you're going to think about and what you're going to give attention to, you start to regain control over your life. And sometimes people can get nervous because they're so used to just sitting at the bottom and complaining about why they're down there and who put them there, that they start to get anxious about, well, what if I don't make it out of here? What if I run into some hardships? You will. But instead of being stuck in these cycles of negative thinking, you're free to act with intention, to engage with purpose, and to experience a deep sense of joy and satisfaction. Reclaim your life, and you do it first in the mind. Stop focusing on all the garbage and focus on all of the beauty and all of the wonder around you. A little bit of this might go a long way in changing your countenance, changing your attitude, and ultimately changing your life. Look, I'm for you. I'm with you. I want you to win. I want you to have a happy life. I want you to have a great marriage. And I'd love for you to reach out to me. We'll work through this together, whether it's, 3 appointments or 6 appointments or whatever you choose. Let's walk this road together because I know you're capable of great things in life, but you got to let some of your attention move away from those things and remember who you are and remember what you're capable of. And let's start moving forward. I'll see you next time. Be present to life, guys.